Maximum Intelligence meets Minimum Intelligence. We've got me here from Maximum Intelligence Eli, and Davin this time, who is Minimum Intelligence.
Minimum.
Instead of Daniel.
Bare
today.
minimum.
Yep. What actually happened is the normal day or time that Daniel and I normally would have recorded Maximum Intelligence, I completely forgot and didn't show up. Davin was going to be our guest.
We woke up so early, and we like drive home and everything, and we're just sitting in Discord forever. We're like, where the fuck is Eli? What the fuck is going on?
Dude, another weird thing that happened is I lost cell phone reception for like almost 2 days straight, and I still had Wi-Fi, and I could still Snapchat and stuff, but all calls and texts wouldn't show up, and I couldn't send any either. And at first I thought it was like my apartment or something, but I went to my mom's house, it still didn't work. And so I called when my dad called me, I was like, is there something wrong with our plan or whatever? He's like, I don't know, I'll call him. That's really weird. And then it suddenly started working again. And when it started, and that was like a few hours, or the next day, it started working again. And suddenly I get all these voicemails and texts, and I got a text from you saying, are you alive? And stuff like that. And I was like, I feel, I forgot still that we were supposed to record Maximum Intelligence. And I was just like, dang, that feels good that only 2 days of not contacting people, that 2 people, you and Daniel, were asking about me and stuff. And then later, I text Daniel about recording it, and that made me remember that I missed the scheduled recording. And I was like, oh, that's why they were contacting me. Bruh. But yeah, I just completely forgot. It's so stupid. Here's the weird thing is, even if I had remembered, though, I might have had to cancel it because it was Tuesday morning we were supposed to record it, and Monday night I had stayed at my mom's house. And so I had getting up, and was it 8 to 10 or 10 to 12?
I think we said 8 to 10.
Yeah, because 8, I still would have been at my mom's house getting people to school, because 8:40 is when Jazzy has to get on the bus, 8:30 the rest of the kids. And so I would have had to cancel it or at least reschedule it. And so I kind of felt bad that it seems uncharacteristic of me to forget that.
That's why I was so confused. I was like, what happened to Eli? But you just actually forgot. That's so not Eli. That's whack.
That's retarded. But I was like, dang, sorry guys. My bad. It's retarded.
I had you do that yesterday, and then also Drake. Drake was like, yo, let's record the GOT game. I was like, okay.
The same day?
And we planned on Tuesday, And then he was just in the Discord call forever, and I go, yo, Drake, are we going to do it? And then he just, no, never responded. And I was just like,
did he say no?
Okay,
or
I guess not.
Respond?
No, he just never gave me an answer if we were going to do it. So I was like, so I never did either of them yesterday.
That's whack. That's AIDS.
I was like, that's whack?
That's super AIDS. Do you think that Daniel will listen to this episode since he wasn't in it?
No, dude.
I don't think he will.
No chance.
No chance, dude. He's too busy of a person for that, dude.
Too busy.
Too much going on. It's like right now, Daniel would have been in this recording, but he's just like, nope, I can't. And I was like, you don't have 1 hour today before 9 p.m. 1 hour between stuff, maybe before bed. Nope, not even 30 minutes. And the fact that he said not even 30 minutes makes me think he's gone, but it's also like, how? You know,
dude,
really?
what is this man doing?
Cutting out your 2-hour nap every day or something
like
that.
I got to roast him on his naps, bro. I don't understand how this man naps. How do you nap?
Daniel comes across to me as maybe the least busy person I know.
Really?
Like, I know he goes to the gym, which is good. That's obviously admirable. And he works, and that's enough. I'm not trying to diss him or anything like that. I'm just saying that, I don't know, for some reason he seems, maybe it's the way he talks about his days or something. I just literally imagine him going to work mega early, coming home, or going to the gym, coming home, and then just killing like 6 or 8 hours before he goes to bed. Just or going to bed before he goes to bed even. But,
because it's weird because I don't know what he does. Who knows?
I don't know. He doesn't play video games anymore. He takes naps clearly, but it's like,
I don't get it.
I can't think of anything.
Freaking crackhead.
Yep. Anyway, one thing that I was going to tell you about is the other day I was at my dad's house, and my dad goes, I've been having such a hard time trying to find stuff that's interesting to watch on YouTube or on anything, like any TV show or YouTube channel. And he's like, a lot of times I want to lay in bed and listen to something while I go to sleep, and I'm unable to find anything. And so I was trying to think, like, I was like, I said, me personally, for the last like year, have just been listening to Jordan Peterson, like, all the time, right? And he's like, yeah, I know of his, but I don't know, I want something like more I guess it's not as interesting to him, not as entertaining. I want something more entertaining.
Yeah.
And so he's like, trying to find different like podcasts or whatever, and he's like, I don't really like Joe Rogan, because I was kind of saying you could do Joe Rogan. Anyway, he ends up going, oh wait, one channel I found that I actually really like that you should try is called Mr. Ballen. And I was like, Mr. Ballen?
Mr. Ballen.
Do you know who that is?
No.
Yeah, and
just that name.
I know. So I started laughing. I'm like, Mr. Ballen? He's like, this is what Mr. Ballen does. He researches some real event that happened, like, that's interesting to him. Like, it could be like some of them are like ghost stories or UFO sightings, but most of them are like FBI reports of certain like serial killers history or missing persons thing, like, that he tries to keep it like somewhat creepy. And then he researches it a lot, and then he literally sits in front of his camera, in front of a green screen, looks at his camera, and tells the whole story. That's now and then a picture will come up, but mostly it's just him telling the story. And
what the hell?
My dad didn't say that. He just said he researches it and tells it, and it's so interesting. He goes, I've listened to like 10 or 15 of his videos, and some of them are like 45 minutes long, and they're super interesting. He's never not liked one. I was like, really? He's like, yeah.
The heck?
I was like, yeah, I'll try it at some point. And I kind of forgot to, and then my dad calls me a few days later or something and brings it up again, Mr. Ballen. I go, oh, I'll try it tonight. I forgot to try it. I'll try it tonight. So that night, I go to Mr. Ballen's channel, find him, and his profile picture is like this Navy SEAL that's buff in front of an American flag. That was like classic thing my dad would click on. Right?
Yeah.
And I sort by most watched, and I click his most watched video, which is the FBI hates this man, and then in parentheses, mature audiences only, whatever. I was like, all right. So I watch it, and he does his beginning intro thing. His beginning intro thing is like, if you like disturbing or creepy content told in a story format, this channel's for you. And then he says, you know how a lot of YouTubers will have a way of saying to smash the like button or destroy the like button or kill the like button? What he does is every video he thinks of a different obnoxious thing to do to the like button. And so one of the things he says in this video is replace the like button's eye drops with something kangaroo urine or something. And then he just keeps going, and I was like, what did he just say? I was like, what? And I kept rewinding it and re-listening to it, and I didn't get the joke. And I was like, maybe this is like a channel inside joke or something that I don't get. And I literally Googled what is whatever kangaroo urine he said. And I found that it's this acid stuff that you pour around trees you're trying to kill, or if you're trying to get rid of, not trees, I think it's rodents. If you're trying to get rid of rodents that are in your yard or keep foxes away, you pour kangaroo urine on it. And so...
the hell?
Yeah, and so I see that, and I'm like, oh, maybe it would hurt really bad in your eyes. Anyway, and then the next video, he says, spot the like button when he does his bench presses, and then walk away as soon as he starts looking exhausted. That's that's how you screw over the like button. And then another
God damn it.
Hand the like button one of those flimsy cardboard 3D glasses from kids 3D movies and tell him that it lets him look at a solar eclipse. So,
bro.
What? And so it's kind of funny, but anyway, those three I was like, wow, weird. Like, I was so confused the first one I heard, and I don't know, I couldn't tell if it was even a good idea to do for a channel, because I was like, people aren't going to know what you just said. And then on the fourth video I watched of his, he goes, he keeps trying to say it, and he keeps laughing and having to cut and retry it. And he's like, put a gigantic saltwater crocodile in the like button's house. That's all it was. It was like,
bro, goddamn.
Anyway, this is the main thing I want to say about the channel, though, is sounds retarded. But the reason I've watched 4 of his videos now that are like 40 minutes long, even though he's staring at the camera, telling a story, he is probably the most interesting storyteller that I've ever seen. Yeah. And I don't know if it's the vocabulary he's using or what. And he has like 4 million subscribers, 3.8 or something. But he's like, he just sits there and talks, and he, is kind of using his hands a little bit to tell the story. And
Yeah.
it's just so interesting, dude. It's like a podcast, but also just, I mean, like engrossed in the story the whole time. And I was like, that's weird. I didn't know this was a skill at all, was, you know, being interested.
Being able to,
just
tell a story super well.
Yeah. And it was just
that's whack.
Crazy. And so his third most viewed video is his personal ghost story of the one time in his life that he thinks he saw a ghost. And it was just...
Bruh.
What?
I said, bruh.
Oh. Yeah, dude. And so I was like, okay, whatever. It didn't sound as interesting to me as the first two, which were real documented events, you know? So I was like, whatever, I'll listen to it. And dude, after listening to that and a few of his other stories that people sent him about their ghost experiences, it's like, dude, if these are true, that's very scary, dude. That's so creepy. Holy cow.
Fuck, dude.
But
this guy sounds interesting. I don't know if I could listen to those, dude. I don't do...
Dude, here's a good one that's not extra creepy. It's his second most viewed video, and it's called Her Evil Plan to Kill Me or something like that. And well, now that I'm about to tell you the whole story, don't listen to this one because I just want to... There was something in this story I wanted to tell you anyway. But he tells a story about this old couple that are really well off financially. They're pretty rich. They've got a nice house, nice investments, whatever, but they're pretty old. And like 10 or 15 years ago, they had helped to raise this little girl that was like their grandkid's friend or something, you know, and they had spent a few years with her, and then she moved away and they hadn't seen her in a while. Anyway, this one day, her and one of her friends were driving past that area, and they ran out of gas or their car broke down or something. And so they went in there, and she's like, oh, I know an old couple that lives here. Let's go, you know, just see if they can help us or whatever. I can't remember the specifics, but they go in there, and the old couple's like, oh, come in, and they're being super nice. Is there anything we can do for you? You know, it's so good to see you. And they feed them dinner, and then they give them some money for their car or whatever it was. And they're like, oh, this is cool. But during dinner, the old couple said at one point that they had recently sold a house for a $99,000 profit. And immediately, and keep in mind, this story is at the report of the guy that was with the girl, right? The two that came in the house. And this is what he was telling police later in investigations, that everything that happened. And he said that as soon as the couple said that they had just made $99,000, him and the girl glanced at each other with like an understanding that they were going to rob this couple at some point. They just from that, they went, this is one of the targets. We're going to rob them. Even though they were being completely nice to him. And so they thank him for dinner and finish and leave. And then devise this whole plan with two other friends and come back like a week later, a few days, I don't remember how many days later, come back with 4 people. They have the first 2 that the old couple wouldn't recognize, knock on the door, and they told them to expect them to be very welcoming and nice and let them come in. And they said something like, oh, our car broke down or whatever, and they welcome him into the house, the door shuts, they pull out guns, they have them go to the back of like a closet, and they go in there and tie them up. Or no, it wasn't a closet. They had them sit on their couch, tied up, and then they were wrapping duct tape around both of their heads so that only their nostrils were out so they could breathe. And then as soon as they're tied up and the eyes are duct taped, the other 2 pull up, rush in, grab. They had all these bags. All 4 of them are grabbing all this stuff all over the house, throwing it in bags and zipping them up. They all get into this van, and then they pick up the couple, bring the couple into the back of the van. So it's a kidnapping as well. They drive clear to this designated spot on one of these off-roads, like pretty far away. And they had a grave already dug for the couple. And they put them in the grave. And one of them said that he thought the original plan was that they were going to make them think that they were going to kill them and make them give up all of their bank information and everything out of fear.
Yeah.
But they're tied up in the trunk, or it was in the trunk when they transported them there, not a van. And they were tied up with duct tape. And during the drive, it had gotten so hot and sweaty in the trunk that they were able to slip out of their duct tape. And so when they opened the trunk, they were both sweaty and hugging each other and praying and crying. And they ripped them out of there because this is a pretty old, decrepit couple. Like, they're not going to have a chance of fighting back. But they pull them out and make them strip off all their clothes so they're completely naked. And then make them get down in the hole and sit there. And when they threw them in the hole, when they threw the girl in second, she like went over to her husband and was like hugging and crying into his back. And so then they point the gun and say, like, give us all your information. The guy kept saying, the guy was answering every question completely, as you know, accurately with all of the information, just saying, we'll give you anything you want. We'll give you everything we have. Please don't kill us. and he being super cooperative. And then this was the disturbing part that I wanted to tell you. They decide to kill them by burying them alive, dude. And
bruh.
while they're this is the weird part, is you'd think they could just climb out, and I don't know if the hole was too deep or if they just didn't want to try out of fear or what, but they were just sitting there hugging each other while the other 4 spent hours shoveling dirt on top of them.
What the fuck?
For hours and hours and hours. And that the whole entire time they were pleading with them to not do it, and all these other options. And anyway, this guy, as he's telling the story, Mr. Ballen, the way he's describing, like, as the dirt piled up to their chests, the pressure on their chests, you can tell that they were starting to have smaller and smaller breaths, and they couldn't breathe, and it got to where they stopped trying to convince them to stop burying them because they didn't have the air to. They were just going, looking at each other, crying, and then as it got toward their necks, they had to angle their heads straight up while they're just breathing up, and it got to where they were so stuck from all the pressure that, you know, with their face looking straight up toward the sky and the air all the way up to their ear, or the dirt all the way up to their ears, that then when they started piling dirt onto their face, you know, they were coughing and choking and you could hear it. And then after you couldn't see their face anymore, after you couldn't see their face anymore and they were done burying them, and the 4 teenagers were just waiting next to their cars for the sounds to stop. That's why they were waiting there, because they could still hear them whimpering and crying and choking for I don't know how long, but for a while they had to just sit there and they were just waiting for the sound to stop.
Holy
dude,
fuck.
I had never had a fear of being buried alive until I heard that story. I was like, dude, that is such a disturbing story. Dude.
That is holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, and the whole time they're yelling at the girl teenager that they helped raise for years. Like, why are you doing this? Like, we've always treated you good. Is there something we did? Is there something we can do? Like, anything. And they're just burying them alive, dude, after they stole everything they had. Isn't that
That is so fucking ooh.
Dude, I know. Why would you not, like, make them shoot you at that point? Why would you get buried alive? That's what
I would have done anything to get shot in the head.
Yeah, I would have fought to the death, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe the only thing that would prevent me from doing that is if they were threatening to torture my wife unless I got buried alive or something. And then maybe, but even then, you can't really trust that that's actually what they're going to do, you know? And so it's just kind of, oh, dude, it's such a gross story. Like,
that is...
on top of the suffering that they went through, not only that, but they're super nice, good people. And then not only that, but it's a betrayal, you know, of someone that they helped that much for, you know, for years. It's just like, that is such an age.
Holy shit. So was this just from they got caught and the person told the whole story?
Yeah, so the girl was interviewed first and she wouldn't give up anything. And I think what happened is one of them got caught and told them where the other ones were. And when the police arrived at the other people's house, they were shopping bags everywhere from tons of different stores of all the stuff they had bought with the couple's money. And it was estimated something like $90,000 or something they had spent in like 2 days. And with the couple's, you know, money, of course. Yeah. But it was just like, dude, so AIDS. And then one of the people at that house is what told them the whole story in detail. And it was just like, that's so AIDS. So I assume hopefully all 4. Oh, I think 3 of them got the death sentence. So they got executed, and then one of them got life in prison instead. Which I didn't realize life in prison is a step down from the death sentence. But it was the one that told them everything got life in prison instead of the death sentence. But
damn.
Yeah.
All for what the fuck? How is that worth it to people? That doesn't make sense. Jesus.
I don't know. I don't know how they got caught either. I kind of want to re-listen to it. Mr. Ballen explains it all, but it's like, dude, that was an interesting story, though. The way he tells all of it and stuff, and then now and then he'll add background sounds and stuff, and it was just like, I don't know, it's fun to listen to. It's weird that storytelling is that entertaining. It's like,
yeah, I could probably listen to some of them, but if, dude, the horror ones, I don't think I could do it. Yeah, it's like actual scary shit.
Yeah, his personal ghost encounter was pretty creepy, but a lot of the other ones aren't supernatural. They're more like that one, you know, just like, hey, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But
It's weird. Your dad found this channel. What the hell, dude?
Yeah, he found it and recommended it. And anyway, I like it. I listened to one of them today too, and the ones that are where he's reading stories that people sent in, those ones always seem less like it could be fake, right? Like,
yeah.
All you have to have is someone that's good at writing, a good author, to post a really interesting ghost story on Reddit that sounds real, and 100% of it could be fabricated, you know? And so those ones are like, that doesn't really convince me of anything. But like his personal account or police reports or something that's like, I feel like is more credible, it's like, that could be real, you know?
That's fucking cool.
So,
crazy shit, bro.
Yeah.
Damn. Holy fuck, that scared me. Fucking
someone came in your
flopped
room
behind me, yeah.
AAA in the chat, actually, right when I started talking about Mr. Ballen.
AAA?
AAA said, "What's good, my niggles?"
Dude, we're chilling. Mad chilling.
I don't even know if he's still here. Dude, something, when I stream and I use OBS to stream, I can't see my viewer count. I don't know if anyone's watching, and I never know. Every time I've streamed, I don't know. And is there not a plugin or setting or something you can add that shows the view count?
I don't know about in OBS, but you can go to your like Twitch channel to see. Just like open your channel into Twitch, but it's like, dude, have you finished?
Oh, I figured it out.
Rick and Morty.
No, dude. So Drake has asked me either 2 or 3 times if I've seen the season 5 finale. So then that made me kind of like, oh, that sounds interesting. Like, because he's brought it up multiple times, I was like, I bet something cool happens. I want to watch it. And then on top of that, going through memes, there was a few talking about that season finale and how it like changes something or does something interesting in the plot. I don't know. And I was like, dude, I got to watch that. But I just haven't yet. And I think it's because I watch it with Trinity. And so watching it alone, it just takes a little bit longer. But, bruh.
Damn.
Is it just...
Yeah, I finally watched it, and it was like, holy shit, dude. That was pretty good.
Really? Damn.
Yeah. Because the whole season, what bugged me, is the whole season is just like, whatever, right? Adventures. And then the final 2 episodes, you're just like, bruh. They finally did story shit. Holy fuck.
Let me just answer this. Does it have to do with Smart Morty? Like the Morty that took over the Rick Council and everything?
Evil Morty, yeah.
Yeah, it does?
Dang, it does.
Heck yeah, that makes me so hyped.
Dude, it's weird. It's kind of crazy the way Angie just go, what the fuck is going to happen next, dude?
That's cool.
So we'll see.
I'm glad that they still added in actual, the bigger plot lines that's happening in Rick and Morty besides just each individual, like Family Guy, each episode is its own story arc, everything ramps up and it's over, it ends the way it began. Yeah. It's just whatever. But Rick and Morty mostly does that, but there's also underlying larger story arcs. It's like Adventure Time. Like most of them are just random adventures, but as you hit those key episodes, you can start piecing together the past and everything. It's like, oh.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. But yeah, you should watch it sometime.
Okay, I'll watch it. In fact,
because haven't you seen all the episodes except for the finale?
No, I would need to look up. It might have been, but I would need to look up the website that has them again because I don't remember for sure how many I've seen. But I'm trying to remember the last. I don't even remember the plot of the last episode I watched. I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, yeah, I'll watch it. Sounds pretty sick.
Yeah, dude.
So switching topics again. A while ago, you were saying that if you had a show on YouTube, whether it was on Flop Slap or your own thing, that you would probably want to do a podcast. And I don't know if this has changed now, but you'd either want to do a podcast or like a news show type thing. And I can't remember if it was video games or electronics in general or news in general or electronic news. It was something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like just tech and game news.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I wanted to do. But I haven't done it yet. The usual.
Yeah, so the reason I wrote it down as a topic is because I was gonna ask you if would you prefer, because it seems like one option for you to do that would be to either have your own channel and start releasing it regularly onto there. And so I guess my question was, would you rather do it on like your Doofin Davin or Davin Doofin YouTube channel, or would you make it its own channel for just that show? And then on top of that, would you edit it and have it be like an edited short show, like each thing has a short episode, or would you want it like full length podcasts like Got Game or whatever?
I was thinking of it in a way of like having a how do I word this? Having it be like a show that I edit, right? Mm-hmm. And I have all the points I want to hit and everything, but then also do like a weekly recap, like podcasts, and people talk about all the shit that has happened throughout the week. That's mainly what I was thinking. But I would put it on a different channel. I wouldn't put it on my
so its own channel.
My one. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing I was gonna ask is, if you want, just as like practice or something, I would be willing at least to film one of them with you, even if you weren't going to release it, just so that you can practice like researching tech news one week, and then also you could practice editing with that if you wanted.
Yeah.
So we could do something like that. And then another thing I was going to say is, once that channel's made, or at least ready to be made, if you want, we could release the first episode of it on Flop Slap, and then at the end say, okay, this is going to be its own channel. This is, just to show everybody what it is, and then direct them to your channel. Something like that if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing with the whole show idea is, it's like, I've thought of like kind of the idea of what I want to do, but it's just me. I have to go into the specifics of everything I would need to do and just plan everything out before I actually do it.
Yeah.
And I just haven't. It's kind of dumb. Because it's like the idea is there, but I need to like figure out all the fine details, because it's not just as simple as like, oh, just do it,
Yeah.
Do the news every day. It's like, that's a lot of fucking research and time going into all just, and whatever I want to talk about, I have to find interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. One thing that that I've learned through like researching how to grow on YouTube and everything is the fastest way to grow is to have a niche audience and have a specific, like your videos are about a super specific topic, because then just all the people interested in that one thing, like, obviously random videos is the most general thing you can do, and then you can specialize that slightly smaller into just comedy, which is kind of what I try to do with Flop Slap, is just have the funny parts in. But even that's not very specialized at all. You could then specialize it further into like, I don't know, gaming, comedy gaming, which is what Slop Flap is, and then you could specialize it, you could infinitely go more and more specified. But people that do like how-tos, or do how-tos just on Premiere, how to do different things on Adobe Premiere or something, it's like so specialized, their channels grow really fast because it's, more people are going to find that because it's very specific.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to think, I was like, okay, I do want to specialize Flop Slap more, because it's just like most of the stuff on there is mostly only stuff that our friends and people we know would probably get around and watch, because, there's a lot of inside jokes, and some of the stuff that's funny is only funny because it's that person doing that, and that's outside their personality or true to their personality or something like that, right? And so I was like, I'm personally, the thing I've thought of so far that would be most fun to me to go into would be doing video essays. Do you know what video essays are?
No. Imagine
that you research a certain topic, like tech news, or it could be a historical thing, or like a Mr. Ballen type subject, like a thing that happened or a certain topic or something. Research it a lot to where you write an essay about it, an actual introductory, 3 body paragraphs, conclusion, like in a full essay on it. And then, but that's the script. And then you make a video where you're basically reading that essay. And then, but what people are watching is, it's like Jacob Geller. Do you know the Jacob Geller YouTube channel that I turn on a few times? He does like in-depth things about different video games, and his whole channel is about video games. But that, even though I don't care about almost any of the video games he's talking about, there's something about the way he writes his scripts and essays that make it super interesting. And so I think, but the difference with him is he's just trying to be educational, and Mr. Baller's he's entertaining, but he's not funny, right? And so I was wondering if I could make video essays about different subjects that are interesting to me, like, I don't know, a video essay about the effects of classical music, or a video essay about this one historic event, something like that. And then have it be comedic at the same time. And the way I was thinking of having it be comedic would be if I was telling it to someone while, like, in the background, rather than just me talking about it. If I was talking about it to you or someone else, that you could give feedback and, like, either ask questions or just make jokes or whatever. We could, like, I'd keep it lighthearted where we're just kind of BSing, but I'm still teaching about that thing. And then the video would be pictures or video of relating to the thing we're talking about. And now and then it might cut back to you and me. But I don't know. I feel like that would be, that would be to me a fun way to specify the channel even more. And rather than just and I don't know, maybe I would keep Flop Slap as like a vlog type, just BSing, doing it whatever we want type channel. And then maybe this would be its own channel. I haven't decided yet. But that I think would be what I would try to use to make money on YouTube and get to the point where I'm actually monetized and everything, would be that, because that's a more specific thing, right? And so, but
I was gonna ask, are you wanting to do that along with the other ones you're doing, or just replace, like you were just saying, Flop Slap is now just this, and I'm gonna, like, so all the live action type stuff that would just be,
dude, it's a hard decision, because right now Flop Slap and Slop Flap are already an hour a day of how much of my time it consumes, and I've been able to do it, but it's like, the idea of adding another channel onto that is pretty AIDS, and I don't really want to do that. So what I think I'll do is do it once really, really well, and maybe keep working on Flop Slap or Slop Flap for an hour a day, and on top of that, add like half an hour to an hour a day of researching a topic and writing the essay and everything, and not have a deadline for when it has to be done. Just make sure I work on it that much a day until it is done. And then hopefully that would be a really good thing. And I'd probably release the first one on Flop Slap and just see how it goes over, see what people say or whatever. And if it were to replace the normal videos we've been doing, I probably wouldn't be able to release every other week, just because if I kept it an hour a day, it would have to become like where I'm only releasing like once a month or something, if they're high quality video essays, right? Like what I was explaining. And so that's like, it's a lot of work, but it's also like I would learn a lot about the things I'm researching, and other people would be learning a lot. So I think that would motivate me, is because right now I don't feel like I know Flop Slap or whatever I think is entertaining genuinely. And as I get better at editing, I do think they're getting funnier. But knowing that it was entertaining and educational or informative would be more motivating, I think. And so,
Dang.
So, I don't know if that's the idea.
Yeah, that'd be cool. You should try it out. That could be super awesome.
I'll probably do the first one on, like I said, I'll release one on Flop Slap, and that one will probably be a 5 or 10 minute short one. It's like the skit we filmed, even though it's a minute and a half. Eventually, it'd be cool if those got to where they're 5 minutes. Even though
I'm mad. I still haven't sent you all of them.
Dude, guess what I'm mad about? Which is 10 times worse than that, is my audio did not record on my phone. The audio. Oh wait, maybe. I thought I used my phone to record audio at some point. Maybe I didn't, because now I'm starting to question if... No, maybe I didn't, because I didn't have any audio files on my phone, and I was like, no way. But then did you go
to that app?
Yeah, I went into the app and everything. But my phone was the one being used as the camera, and so I'm hoping that all of my audio are on either your or Damien's.
I think it's on Damien's. Or mine.
Damien's phone only had like 3 files on it.
I think it's mine then.
Okay, hopefully it is. Because I was sitting there like, yo, if I don't have my audio, is there a way I can even fix that? Is that even possible? And so I was like, I would probably put on the lavalier, stand in my room, watch a video of me saying that, and try to say it and match the mouth movement to it.
Dub your video?
I might have to dub my video, dude. if I don't have those, but I was like, oof.
I think they're on mine because I have a fuck ton.
Oh, really?
That's why it was taking me so long the day I was going to send them. It was taking so long to like convert them to a file to then send to you. I was like, holy fucking shit, there's so many of these. And I never ended up finishing it that day, and then I fucking forgot about it.
Yeah, you were saying that was taking forever. So it has to convert on your phone to a certain file?
Yeah, because since it's just in the app, I actually have to save it as an actual file. Because right now it's just whatever file in the app. I have no fucking clue. I can't find it on my phone unless I go to the app. Maybe I'm just being retarded, but I was like, yo, what the fuck? It took forever.
That's very annoying.
Yeah, I kind of interrupted with that, but fuck. I had another question I was gonna ask. So, do you have back to the video idea you have? Do you have a specific topic that you're thinking of doing first, or just
you haven't thought? One topic I thought of because I was also like, it has to be interesting to me, otherwise it won't be entertaining to listen to, right? And so I was like, I don't really want to do crime things because I don't think I care too much about those. But one thing I thought of doing is the dance plague that happened in in Europe a long time ago. There was a point where people started dancing in the street, and they start dancing, and these other people come up and start dancing, and no one could stop dancing, and they ended up starving to death dancing, and hundreds of people in this town died.
No fucking way. And this is not real. No, this is not real.
So on this podcast that Trinity listens to about historic events, they were talking about this dance plague one time, and I was like, this is retarded. And she's like, no, Google it. It's real. And so I Google it, and I was like, yo. And it was this whole thing where it's like, scientists think it has to do with this thing called mass hysteria, where if a large group of people start believing or doing something, it's been known that other people will uncontrollably start doing that thing. And I was like, no way.
Fuck?
Dancing? It's like, no. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then a few months later, PewDiePie made some video about, it was the recent ones about the dumbest ways to die from history. And one of the things in there was when the people were dancing to death. And I was like, I know about this event. This is so irritating. And so because I want to learn more about it and everything, I might have that be one of the first topics, is like, this
that'd be a good one.
Happens.
Dude. That actually bugs me so bad that that's a thing.
I know. There's paintings of it, and
holy
there's people
shit.
crying while they're dancing. And there's other people that would come up and try to get them to stop dancing because they're like, yo, mom, you haven't drank water in 4 days. You're looking really sick. Stop dancing. And they won't be able to talk, and they'll just
like, I have to throw it back. Holy fuck, dude, that's so annoying.
Dude, I know, dude. That's one of the weirdest things from history. It doesn't make any sense. There was another one. This is another example of mass hysteria of nuns. There was a nunnery, and all these nuns in there. They wouldn't talk to each other anymore. They would meow like cats. They were only going meow. And other people tried coming in, and they couldn't stop them, and they couldn't stop, and they're just meowing, and it was just like,
no, what?
It bugs me so much, dude.
There has to be some like higher council that's like, all right, we've decided this is what's happening or something. No way, dude.
Like in the nunnery, like, you must all meow now.
You must all meow now, and there's like, fuck, I have to meow. No way you just start doing that and then everyone's like, yeah.
Dude, for whatever reason, it was an example of mass hysteria, and so that means that there must have been people where they're like, they can't stop. They're trying to stop and they can't.
Like, what the fuck?
It was whack, but
it's like somehow they all in that nunnery just had Tourette's.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Or this genuinely magic cat just pulled up one day.
He pulls up, dude.
He just
fucking
walks into there. And dude.
That's so weird, dude.
I know.
Holy shit.
One of the Mr. Ballen videos was about Skinwalker Ranch, which is here in Utah. And it's known, people that are like way big into aliens and think aliens are real and talk about all of that. Skinwalker Ranch is always one of the biggest like pieces of evidence that they use. Like, yeah, but did you hear about any of the Skinwalker Ranch stories? And to sum it up, and then a really short explanation, this couple bought this ranch that had been like abandoned from the previous owners. And they're like, so they got it for cheap. They're like, dope. They go there, and there was a few weird things, like every door and window had giant locks on the inside and outside, and even the doors between rooms within the house had giant locks on the inside and the outside. And there was 4 big posts outside that had huge, thick chains attached to them, so it was almost like they had like 8 guard dogs or something like that. And they were just like, this is kind of weird, but whatever. We got it for super cheap. And as they lived there over the course of however long, few months or few years or something, weird stuff was happening. Like they would see lights in the forest way over there. And so like at one point the dude thinks someone's hunting on his land, and he goes out there, and as he got closer and closer, they stayed the same distance from him and then eventually went up into the air. They just floated up into the air and disappeared into the sky. And then like a few of the other ones were I don't remember. There was an orb at one point, this blue orb that was a light that would float, and if it got close to you, you would feel like an unimaginable level of anxiety. You just get extremely stressed and different things like that. So their story, as they lived there and it got more and more annoying, and they figured out why there was locks on everything, this is one of the parts that makes me go, okay, this is retarded. This is just a BS, people trying to make an interesting story. Is a few nights there was these tall humanoid figures that with blank faces, skin over their faces, that would look up and peer into their windows. And that's why all the windows had these big curtains and locks and stuff. And so because when they claimed that and tried moving, their story about it was like Utah farmer family gets terrorized by unknown force, and it went over onto all these newspapers all over the U.S. And then that made this billionaire guy named something Bigelow, that's his last name. He's a billionaire that had started this group of people who he deemed not be biased. Like he found PhD like doctors and scientists and stuff, and formed this group where they investigate supernatural things. And so, but he didn't want anybody who was interested or wanted it to be real. He tried to find people that are like, I can explain ghost sightings. Like, this is not real, right? And that's what his group was comprised of. And so he bought Skinwalker Ranch from them just because of that news thing. He's like, oh, maybe my team can go there and actually figure out what's going on, right? So he buys it. The team goes there, and then the guy who was trying to leave, him and his family that were being terrorized, Bigelow offered them money to stay there because they didn't know how to, like the team that he was bringing there doesn't know how to ranch or anything. And he's like, we'll pay you if you stay there and keep living there, and then report to my team when stuff happens, and my team will set up a base on your ranch, and they will be there 24 hours a day if something comes up. And so tons of people from his team would go there for work every night and every day, and they had these little buildings way out in the ranch that they would, like, scientist people would be at with equipment to like just wait for creepy things to happen. And sure enough, tons of creepy things happened that are documented and that are actually that the scientists found and tested and stuff. And that report is one of the biggest things that alien believers use as evidence. Like, look at all the stuff that a real team found. And it's like, what do you say about that? And the findings were things like this. Like, one day the farmer and his family were out doing whatever you do to cows in a barn. Like, I don't know if they were milking them or what they were doing. And one of their dogs starts growling and looking at the certain corner, like just freaking out, looking at where a pig was. There was a pig inside of its little thing. And this dog starts growling. And so they walk over there, and the pig is on the ground, and its arms and legs, or its arms, all 4 of its legs have been surgically removed, and it's dead, and all of its organs are taken out and placed around its body, like perfectly separated where the organ ends, and there's no blood anywhere. And the dog's growling, and they said that pig, they just seen that pig like 5 minutes before, because they were on that side of the barn and they had walked past and everything was normal, and suddenly this dog's growling. They walk over there, and the fact that there was no blood, all this weird stuff, and they were like, that's weird. So they hurry and have one of the researchers show up, and the researcher was like doing these tests, and they looked at the incisions, and they were so precise that it was like as good as a surgeon would be. Like, there's no way an animal tore it apart, right? And there was no blood, and it was just like, that's one of the reports. And they just like, dude, that you can't research past that. You just go, someone cut up this pig in like 5 minutes. No one noticed. I don't know. It's just like,
dude, what? That's whack as fuck.
I know. And then
holy shit.
Yeah, and then one of the other ones was the lights out in the trees. They start going toward the main guy with his gun, and then some of the researchers were going there, and they got pretty close to him, and they saw these these hovering objects that kind of look like a stealth bomber jet, those black like Moab planes that are just like a black triangle. Said it kind of looked like that because it had all these sharp edges on it, but it was also kind of changing and morphing, like it wasn't a continuous shape, and it was hovering above the ground, and then there was about 20 feet in the air, and there was a light scanning the ground as it went along, and then he made a noise, and then they all went flew up into the air and disappeared. And some of the team members that were with him also claimed that they saw that exact same thing happen. And it's just like, are they all lying?
The hell? No chance, bro.
Yeah, it's like
some of the things, like, you really think these people are like faking this shit?
Yeah.
But also that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like, I know that most people though would say they're just lying. Like, oh, they're just making an interesting story. Like, Bigelow was interested in supernatural. He probably just, I don't know, found people that would say that or whatever. And it's, I don't know, I guess. Maybe. You could be right, but also...
Dude, I hate shit like that. So conspiracy theories are, like, so fucking cool, but it's so annoying because there's no fucking way you could ever know if it's true. Just like,
yeah,
okay. Yeah. It's a thing that apparently people say happened, but... there's no fucking, like, proof. You can't prove it happened.
And on top of that, the thing that always bugs me is when there's UFO sightings, even some of the videos of UFO sightings, first of all, could be faked really easily. But second of all, even if they were real, one of my biggest arguments is you don't know what kind of technology the government has. Like, they don't release what types of planes they used in wars or whatever till like 15 to 20 years later. Like, there's stuff constantly coming out where it's like, here's the plane that we made in like 1930 something, and it's like, you had that technology in the 30s? Did you know that compared to what the civilians had in the 30s, that this is like insane? And it's like, who knows if right now, especially since, the advancement of technology is exponential, who knows right now in 2021, they could have stuff that's like 100 years advanced from what we'll have now, or compared to what we have now. And
yeah, that's true.
It's safer for them not to release it, because if the enemy sees what type of technology the peak is, they're going to be able to, they'll either go, oh crap, we got to up our game. Let's hurry in and try to, let's dump more money into inventing better weaponry or whatever. So it makes sense that they keep it a secret, because you don't want your enemy knowing that. But I wonder how much of the UFO sightings can be attributed to mega advanced technology that the U.S. has.
Yo, that reminds me, didn't like the military come out and say, yeah, this was a UFO sighting, and like release some footage?
Yeah, the CIA.
I haven't seen it. I heard about it, but I never.
Oh, yeah, I saw.
Is that like a legit thing?
All they said is, we don't know what this is. We have no idea what this is. And the reason that was still a standout thing is because in almost no other situation does the CIA personally come out and go, here's a video, we don't know what this is. And it makes me wonder if this is the first time they didn't know what something was and they knew what the others were, or if they actually didn't know what lots of previous ones were, but they some
finally
reason
decided
deemed civilians like that we would be able to handle knowing that there was an unknown object or something. It's like, I don't know, but it was footage of jet fighters that were talking. You can hear their radio conversation, and they're saying like, what is that? And it's a black and white scan from way up in the air from a jet, and there's this white, looks like a tic-tac on the screen because of how far away it is, but it's flying through the air retard fast, way faster than any jet we have. It's like going like 5 or 6 times faster, just moving through the air, and there's no trail behind it. If anything's going that fast, the speed
like a smoke trail or something
is it's like moving the atmosphere in a way where it actually creates like jets. That giant line of cloud that they make is actually messing with I don't know if it's the humidity or temperature or what in the atmosphere, and making a cloud. It's not just the smoke from its thing. Yeah. But this thing was not doing anything. Holy shit. It was a smooth tic-tac shape, and it was just moving super fast. And then he's saying like, you know what that is? And the other guy's like, That's crazy. That's going so fast. And they just released it.
You just have no idea what it is?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's like,
that's so crazy.
It's weird.
Dude, what if there were actually some fucking aliens? Because there's, dude, your opinion, there's gotta be. My opinion is there's gotta be. What's yours?
I'm literally to the point where I think they've, not only is there aliens, but they've probably been to Earth at this point. It's like,
yeah.
There's so much, like, the most convincing thing to me that got me to that point was Bob Lazar, his story on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan interviewed him, and it took months and months of trying to convince him to come on the show. He didn't want to come on, and then he finally said he would if this other guy came with him and whatever. I can't remember. I don't know if Joe Rogan had to pay him or what, but finally got him to come on. And the reason he was so adamant not to is because in the 80s, or I think it was either the 80s or the 90s, he worked at Area 51, and when he tried releasing some of the top secret stuff he saw there, the government wiped his records in tons of different ways. They destroyed like record of his college, record of him, not only just him working there, but record of all kinds of stuff in his life, all these different files. But back then it wasn't all computerized. And so some people, to corroborate his story after he wrote his book, went to the physical college or in different places he said he worked to try to see if they could see if he was lying. And they went in physical paper files in storage in different places, had him on record for working there. And so they're like, okay, at least he's not lying about these things. And so far, any information we've been able to find, he was telling the truth. But of course, most of his story you're not able to find because it's about what technology he was seeing in Area 51. And his story is like, basically his story is this. So one thing you can Google that's true is he had a Honda Civic or something, and he was such a smart like physicist or something that he installed a jet engine onto the back of his Honda, and it looks retarded. It's this giant, it looks like something on GTA. And then but he was able to get it to work, and it could rev itself down low enough that he's using a jet engine to drive just normal speed limit, but it's a jet engine. Bruh. And that's how smart he is. And one of him making that was one of the reasons that the government decided to hire him. Be like, yo, you're really good at whatever type of science that is. Anyway, they get him to sign all these documents of secrecy. They keep having only one specific person contact him. He's not allowed to contact other people. He ends up going to work. He has to stay in these certain hallways. He's not allowed to turn anywhere that he's not specifically going to work. And there's this one room he's allowed to go in. And there's this, I can't remember if it was a metal orb or a spaceship or something. And they said his only job the whole time he works there is that he has to try to back engineer this thing and figure out how it works, how it hovers off the ground. And that's all he had to do. But he's not allowed to look at anything else, do anything else. He can't ask questions about other people's work. And to me, in my mind at least, that story does kind of make sense for how it would be if there was a secret agency that was collecting alien technology and trying to back engineer it. And so he starts looking at it, and he says that there's this element that we don't have on the periodic table. I think it's cesium-136. It's something like that. And that using that, you can manipulate gravitational waves to where gravity holding you up, you're not having to repel anything off of your ship to stay up like we do. You're literally just magnetism from gravity is holding you up, things like that. And he was saying there's some other element. And then there was one day where he was able to see other people's work, and it was where they led him into this big hangar that had a giant stereotypical looking saucer, big metal saucer, but it was small enough that when a human walked in it, you had to hunch down pretty low. The ceiling's like 4 feet high or something. And he went in and he was describing the inside of the ship and describing all kinds of stuff in there and what happens when you touch this stuff and all that. And then he got out. They let him out after he had a little bit of time to look around in there. Anyway, the reason he ended up getting fired and they got all mad is because there was a field that they would test flying objects in, and they would literally fly them around and have humans in them. And he tried going there one day when it wasn't his day off with one of his friends with a video camera. And he didn't go there through the normal route. He went around to the border and climbed up on a hill in the desert and was trying to film stuff happening. And I don't know if he got caught while he was recording or if he got caught when it was released or what. But that Bob Lazar footage is on YouTube. You can still find it. Or maybe it's online. I don't know if it's on YouTube. But It's not good footage though. It's pretty garbage. But anyway, he got fired. He got all of this stuff. He got screwed over in all these ways, and all of this like slanderous propaganda came out against him, talking about how he's crazy and he's lying and all this stuff. And it ruined his life in such a big way that he just hates talking about it. And that's why he didn't want to go on Joe Rogan and different things like that. He's worried the government will try to do something else, you know. And for years when he tried talking about it, he would get all these repercussions. And anyway, but that whole story, you know, Joe Rogan asking questions is trying to come at it from like a more skeptical point of view and things like that. And it's like, that just sounds like it could be real, you know? Yeah. Oh, and then the reason I said that element, cesium-137 or whatever it was, I don't know if cesium-137 is from like Rick and Morty or something, but it was something like that. It got announced as a real element like a decade later after he coined it, like he named it, and it's a genuine thing now. And it's just like, what? It's really weird, dude. But his story, I would recommend anybody to listen to that on Joe Rogan. It's like,
I need
weird. That's weird.
Holy shit.
So, but that podcast crazy. Was one of the points where I went, okay. Because I've always said to me, the odds seem higher that aliens exist than that they don't, just because of how big the universe is and how small of a portion we can even see.
Yeah.
And so that's what I said before. But after that story, it's like, it kind of makes sense to me that throughout the last few hundred years, that our technology, a lot of our biggest advancements from technology could be from back engineering alien technology we found, right? Like that makes sense to me. Yeah. Because that's how that's how the big way people figure out new technologies is to, you know, get like another country's weapon or something and taking it apart or back engineering. Oh, this is how you do that. And then that's how you learn it.
Yeah.
So what if, and then he said that the saucer that he went into was found in an archaeological dig and that it has been on Earth for like thousands of years.
Bruh.
Yeah.
That is so fucking whack.
It's crazy.
That is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there has to be some other shit. It's like, I mean, I still come at it from how you were saying, like, the universe is so fucking big and we're such a tiny part of it. It's like, no way we're the only fucking one with, like, life on it. That's retarded.
Yeah, well, there's a thing called the Fermi's paradox, which is basically saying, okay, so if life can start out like it did here, why wouldn't it have started out other places, many of other places? And if we assume that it could have then, why isn't there a civilization that's so advanced past us that we don't see their ships or their radio waves or lights or anything, you know, because we have satellites and stuff capable of finding FM radio waves and stuff from hundreds of light years away, right? That have finally hit Earth, and it's silent. And in any direction we point that it's completely dead quiet, even to the point where it's like, how can it be that quiet? And so the Fermi's paradox says either nothing has ever existed and that we're actually genuinely as rare as we, like, just the odds that DNA and life form started is that insane that it's the only time it's happened in a massive infinite universe, or that something is so advanced, so much farther past what we can comprehend right now, that it's able to somehow cloak and disguise all of its manipulation in the universe and flying around and travel and communication. It's able to mask all of that somehow. And so it's just like, I don't know. And then another thing is, it seems like naturally a civilization would eventually create AI if it were to just advance normally, because, you know, we send out ships and robots past us into the universe before we go out there because they don't die of old age, right? And they can collect information more and everything. And we haven't seen any robot technology from aliens. We haven't seen anything. And so it's like, who knows? But I think it's more likely that at some point the government went, let's keep this quiet because we don't understand it yet. And, you know, maybe once we figure it out, we'll release it, something like that. And then now and then they just see weird stuff happen. They go, let's classify that. Let's keep that secret right now. And, because think about how if you're a world power, it's valuable to find information or find technology that's potentially more advanced than your own, because then you could be the one that ends up more advanced than all the other civilizations on that planet, right? And so it makes sense that they would keep it secret and hidden, like, we want the power that this might hold type of thing. And so, I don't know. It's so weird. And then like people like Alex Jones, the mega conspiracy people, they think that there's other dimensions and that's why we don't see aliens, is that there's tons of aliens and tons of different types of life form, but they're just on these different dimensions, and somehow the universe, not the universe, but existence can be divided into these. If you're in your own dimension, you can only witness what's in that realm, but something can live alongside you, but you just can't witness it if it's in a different dimension. You have no senses that can pick that up. You're just limited to this one thing. Like,
that's
maybe
that is too crazy.
And then he thinks that the elite are taking mass amounts of psychedelics and talking to these aliens that are from these different dimensions, because it makes their mind go there, and that the aliens have told them that they're going to wipe out Earth and all of this stuff's going to happen, and that they'll let them survive if they do all this stuff, like, make the masses become dumber and dumber through like different cell phone signals and vaccinations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that you just lower the IQ, and that they'll end up saving the elite and all this stuff.
Dude.
What?
I just hope I live long enough to see all these fucking crackhead, like, fucking theories that, like, get debunked or proven true. That'd be...
Yeah.
Dude, that's what I'm living for at this point.
Yeah.
Because some of them are so crazy. You're like, bro, I have to know the answer to this.
Yeah.
And the fact that I could just die before we ever know, it's like, no.
I know. I don't know if I'm viewing this too optimistically. You tell me. But I've always thought that I'm lucky for being born when I did, because I think that technology's gotten to where the speed at which it advances is so fast that within my lifetime, I think that I'll actually hit a point of Davin's mom just walked into his room and is waving and talking to him real quick. So
sure.
We're gonna hurry and not cut this part out and wait for her to go out, and then we're gonna resume.
All right, chilling.
Crap, now I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, okay. Technology advances so fast that I think that I was almost born at the time to where before I die, I do think we'll hit some of the retard levels of technology that, well, like example would be Neuralink having a full membrane around someone's brain to where they can actually adjust, I don't know, record memories perfectly and transmit them to other people, or maybe record the sensation of giving birth and transmit that to someone else, and then they can feel all that pain, or I have no idea, just weird stuff like that, like what I've heard about Neuralink or VR, like full dive, like SAO type stuff, where your entire nervous system goes into the video game to where you can feel, see, hear, smell, taste, everything in it. And like, I don't know, maybe I'm being too optimistic about the speed at which stuff's advancing, but I saw a YouTube video on technology advancing, and it's so much faster than people think it is now, because what happens is, let's say one field of science makes a tiny breakthrough, like maybe I don't know, people that make phones figure out how to make their chips slightly smaller or whatever. Anytime any field of science makes a tiny advancement, every other field of science can use that to then speed up the speed at which they're making advancements. And then some totally other random, the medical field, make this little advancement, and then a field that you'd think has no, maybe mining or something, goes, wait a second, we could use that technology to do this weird thing. And then they're going faster. And if you look back at human history, people might say, what do you mean? Humans have been around for, 4 million years or whatever. And it took, it didn't take 4 million years to get here linearly. Also, I don't think 4 million is the right number. I'm just giving an example. But it wasn't a linear progression. It was the same thing for years. I think 2 million years ago is supposedly when we discovered fire and were able to control it and figure out how it worked. I think that's the right number, 2 million. And every little advancement since then has been used to make the next ones and used to make the next ones. And it just goes faster and faster and faster, to where the time you get from riding horses to a buggy is way bigger than the time it took to get from a buggy to a car. And then to get from a car to a plane is even shorter. And it's like, dude, it's going to be to where, like right now, I'd say it's like every month maybe. If you wanted, I bet you could find some weird thing that someone in China invented that's like, yo, that's a great idea. What the heck? And it's like just going faster and faster, dude.
And I wanna like get into that loop, that like fucking knowledge loop where I'm learning about the weird fucking technology that's being created. Because like the basic whatever loop is like, oh, the new smartphone came out, and it's like, whoa, the camera does this, and it's like, who gives a fuck? You know? It's like, yeah, cool. It's another exact same phone. Where's the fucking phone from fucking Iron Man where I throw that shit on the table and it fucking puts a hologram in the air? Where's that shit? Like, I don't care about a better camera. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
so it's
I agree.
I don't know. I guess that's like what I see normally. It's like, you're like, I'm optimistic about this. And for me, it's like, I hope. I don't fucking know. Yeah. But like, from what I see on a day-to-day basis, like, that shit just, I don't know, just dumb and advancements.
Boring. Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, we're coming at it from the perspective of the average consumer.
Average, yeah.
And they purposely frame everything in this, because we're in a capitalist society. It's like, okay, let's release phone updates as slow as possible, but to where people will still buy it for full price. Like the phone they would be capable of building is nowhere near the phones they're releasing for $1,200, right? But then I'd say that the speed at which that starts happening probably correlates to the speed at which they're actually advancing. Because an example would be like when I first heard about VR, virtual reality, when we were pretty young, and I don't remember if it was like the HoloLens trailer. It was probably before that, where someone like puts a thing over their face, and that had obviously been talked about in like, Ready Player One, or I don't know when that was written, but books and sci-fi has thought of that for a long time, right?
Yeah.
But I was literally like, dude, at some point, I hope so bad that within my lifetime, that's something that you can have in your household. Like, imagine my kids playing VR, like that'd be insane. And I'm thinking I'll probably be 40 or 50 when I get it. And then it literally seemed like it was like a few months. And then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, you can buy the Vive, and you can buy this, and you can buy this. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
We're to that point? I thought that this was like a conceptual thing. And suddenly it's like, oh yeah, you can buy them. And then suddenly you were the first one I knew that got one. It's like, yeah, I bought one. It's like, what? You bought VR? You have actual VR. It was blowing my mind. And
dude.
And then I was researching it. I saw the Valve Index. I buy the Valve Index, have all this fun with it for months. And VR has even gotten to the point where it's like, yeah, it's set up. I might play it. Whatever. I'm like 22, and I'm thinking that would be dangerous for humanity because people would want to play it 24 hours a day. And then within a few years, I'm bored of it. It's like, it's like, that's like the level of speed that it seems like you're going to start hearing stuff like, oh, look, some company finally invented a car that can fly, that still only takes up the space of a normal car, that's quiet when it flies, and it can land here, whatever. And then it's going to be like 2 or 3 years later where it's like, oh yeah, here's Ford's flying car, here's Chevy's flying car. And then it's going to get to where it's like a Tesla. Like auto-driving cars, that was another one that happened like VR. You hear about that?
Yeah,
like,
dude, that's true. You're reminding me of shit that's like, that is some pretty advanced shit, but damn.
Yeah, and then people have it. It's like, when I first heard about an auto-driving car, I'm thinking, like, even in Star Wars, they still drove their cars. They still had to physically drive them. And like, I don't know, I feel like when I heard about that, it's like, that's crazy. And now I've been in an auto-driving car before. And it's like,
I
don't know. It's just, don't you think one day they're going to be like, okay, this video game plugs into your spine right here, or it scans your brain in a way where you just think really hard about your character doing this, and it does it. And then it's going to be like 2 years, and you're going to be like in your room, like staring at your screen, and it's controlling everything going on. And, you know, like we've already played a video game where you blink. The only control of the game is blinking. And it's like, I know that's just a camera looking at your eyes, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of advanced in a way.
Yeah, that's true. Freaking, it also makes me think, like, do you think, because obviously, like, take our parents, for example, right? Obviously, it's different because your dad is my brother, but it's like, there's technology that's like VR. And for them, it's just like, yeah, whatever, cool, it exists, right?
Yeah.
But like for us, when it came out, it was like, yo, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
For them, it's like, oh, it's cool. Do you ever think we'll hit the point where it's like new technology is coming out and we're just like, meh?
I think if we view it as being tied to video games specifically, then we might be like, whatever. They're kind of cool. It's pretty cool. because I think that's how they viewed it. I think they viewed it as like like interesting. That's kind of cool, but like it's a video game, and like didn't think it's that cool because of that. But
yeah,
my dad said that at his job, they had to show the drafters, because he's like an engineer or something. I can't remember the name of his thing, a drafter, engineer or something. They have to show him something that was inside one of the mines and show the scale of it and everything. And the way they did it is they brought him into a room that had a VR headset, and he had to put it on, and then he was in the mine in the VR thing. And then there was another person in VR states away, but he could see their little avatar thing in the VR that he was in, and it was like pointing to stuff and like explaining stuff. And it's like, as it gets more and more used in non-video game ways, I think that's when the older generations will be more receptive to like cool new technology. But at the same time, I think that we are the first generation where our parents didn't grow up with the internet, mostly the internet. That's the biggest thing. But, all of these crazy technologies, and it might be that is the last generation that's going to be behind on what the new electronic stuff is. Because, we're all aware that our parents aren't good at using computers and have retarded mistakes on their phones that are super easy to fix, or they don't know how to do basic stuff in their email. And it's like, that's probably the last time that'll happen, because we have grown up with not only the internet, but understanding how to use it and how to figure stuff out and Google stuff. But on top of that, have used smartphones and computers for so long that little issues like that we can either figure out if we don't already know them, right? And so what if from now on, when we're in our 60s, what if a new a new nano chip comes out that lets you full dive into video games, or like a glove that makes you feel whatever's in the game or something? Don't you think that you would be like, yo, that's dope, I want to get that and try to buy it, right?
Yeah.
Just to see that. And I feel like maybe from now on, it's possible that old people just will be in the loop.
Yeah.
But also, it's only some of the countries on Earth where our generation has grown up with that. Think about how weird it's going to be when technology gets to the point that's so advanced that people like us are using it and in the loop, and then you get countries that are just now getting the internet. At that point, places in like Africa or South America where it's like, what? Like, that's going to be such a giant gap of understanding that it's like, what's going to happen? That's
crazy.
Is that going to throw some countries so far beyond as far as technological capability that it's just going to create this weird, huge gap that, of course, a huge gap already exists, but I don't know. It's like, I don't know. That might just be whack,
Yeah, that's also weird to think about, that there's just countries that are just barely getting this type of stuff, and they've just lived for this long without it. And for me, it's like, bro, I'm liking the white privilege,
Yeah, the white American capabilities. Dude, yeah, it's so weird. It's like something I always think about is there's a island, I think, of people where they still
you
wear
said this the other day, yeah.
Oh yeah, I said that to you.
Like, anything that tries to come onto the island, they like fucking attack it and shit, shoot bows and arrows at it.
Yeah, they're using bows and arrows.
They
and
shoot
spears.
bows at it.
Yeah, and they just F you. There's weird flying things. Like, they don't understand airplanes, helicopters, ships, like none of that. They only speak a language that's only spoken on that island, and they're still in like, I don't know if you'd call that Stone Age, but it's like, it's like what? Like, they probably
like they could be fighting mammoths right now, and we'd be like, damn.
Yeah, but they're even to a point where they don't know how big the Earth is. They don't know if it's flat. They probably think it's flat. They probably assume there's something beyond the water because they see stuff they don't understand coming from there. But they don't know what the stars are. They're in just such a crazy world of uncertainty.
At this point, we should just fucking airstrike that fucking island. Doesn't exist. If they're that far behind at this point, they shouldn't exist. It's like, get them out of here. What are they doing there? Holy shit.
Funny. But dude, something interesting to think about that's going to tie this together is that those people on that island, they have the ones of them that are smartest and the ones that they think are dumbest, and they have little relationships and all that, but they don't have any technology capable of knowing what's past their island, right? They don't have satellites or anything. They don't understand radio waves. Imagining being able to watch something on a flat surface, like how we watch a movie, but it looks like it has depth and stuff's going on, but it's flat and there's nothing behind the screen. Like, that's incomprehensible to them. And I wonder if what's going on as far as aliens in outer space is us on this planet is still to such a smally advanced, that we just don't contain, we haven't built the technology to see that stuff. Like, what if the observable universe is actually such a small area that it's the equivalent of their island? Like, the outside of that, once we invent a telescope or something that can see past that, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Like, what if there's
two motherfuckers
mega
recording an interdimensional podcast? One of them's like, dude, Earth, just fucking airstrike that shit, delete it. They're that low, dude. Get them the fuck out of here. Why are they here?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
There's two interdimensional aliens
doing the same fucking thing.
People on that planet, they got no idea there's anything else.
That's so annoying, dude. And like the stuff about that's like, dude, it could be, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'm dumb enough, I'm minimum intelligence enough, dude. It's like, who knows? There's gonna be some motherfucker that's born that goes, oh, and figures it out.
Yep.
But doubt it's me, dude. My brain's not on that wavelength. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's insane. People like this is something that's so interesting to me is Jordan Peterson will talk about that we don't know the upper limits of what humans are capable of. No one's ever hit the limit of that. And but now and then you'll get people who are born that for whatever reason, I don't know if it's willpower or just conscientiousness or just sheer being biologically predisposed to spend your time more efficiently. But now and then you'll just get someone born who's mega efficient and productive, and they just accomplish so much. And a lot of those people have accomplished so much that it's unfathomable how much they've changed reality. And like an example would be someone like Socrates. Just this dude was born, and he's able to think about the world and see it in a way that changes philosophy and the way that humans as a whole conceptualize what reality is. And then you'll get someone like Elon Musk or Bill Gates. Like Bill Gates inventing the computer. It's like, if that one guy hadn't been born, who knows how much drastically different the world would be, right? And that could have leapt us forward decades, right? And then Elon Musk, I think, this is something I was telling, I think it was Ethan about, maybe it was you. I wonder if in like 200 years from now or 500 years from now, if we'll look back and people will talk about Elon Musk as, oh yeah, so this guy, he's the guy that made us an interplanetary species for the first time. And he's the guy that made us, what is it called? Have self-sustaining energy. We didn't have it before that. People in high school might be like, they weren't self-sustained. Yeah, they actually were burning coal out of the ground, and they were going to run out of coal at some point. And they're just like, I don't know. And then this guy came along, and now we're fully self-sustaining. And then also, he could be the guy that's known as Neuralink. Like, he made us merge with AI. That's the guy that did it. Like, what if isn't that weird to think about?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy. And some of those people that are that mega advanced that mega productive were not that productive at some point in their life. Like an example is like David Goggins. He's this black guy that used to be this fat slob and said every day he came home from work and was depressed and would drink chocolate milk while he watched like The Simpsons or something. And then slowly just kept like, I know, I gotta do something about it. And he wouldn't do it for years. Finally went and he's like, I'm going to run a mile. And then he only ran like a quarter mile, got all depressed and came home and like beat himself up, didn't do it again for weeks. Okay, I gotta do it, gotta run a mile. Anyway, that guy has gotten to the point where he's like the icon of self-discipline now. He was a Navy SEAL. He's done the Hell Week like 7 times just to prove to everyone else that they're weak, I guess. He didn't need to. And then there's stories of him like running a race where it's such a long race that you have to tap in with 3 different people. Like it's a 4-man race and each person does 1/4 of it. And he's like, I'm going to do that whole race alone. And he did the whole thing alone and it broke the bones in his ankles and his feet were bleeding from blisters. And while his bones were broken, he just kept going. He's like, yeah, it hurt really bad. Hurt insanely bad. But I wasn't going to let my body tell me to stop. And then, like, he has the world record for the most pull-ups in a row. And, like, he can cause physical damage to his body and just keep doing something. And he's just become, he hit some weird thing where he's like, I am in control of what my body does, not pain or suffering or money or anything. And it's like knowing that you can get from the point he started at to the point he's at. And it makes you wonder, like, people like Elon Musk, I'm sure there was a point in his childhood where he wasn't constantly working and busy and doing homework and studying. Like, surely he was just, he probably hit, like, college and went, oh, I want to do, because I think that's when he was trying to make his batteries for Tesla to hold more energy in one battery. It's like, yes, he was super smart, and of course he did have probably some kind of biological advantage with IQ or something like that. But it's like, who knows, dude, how much you could get done with sheer willpower. It's like, it's crazy to me.
It's crazy. Yeah. Be one of the people that just changes fucking way too much on Earth.
Yep.
Fucking cracked.
Yep. That's nutty to me. I wanted to show you this. It's called Kardashev Scale. It's the Kardashev Scale. And this guy named Kardashev, he's a theoretical physicist. And so he came up with these different types of civilizations, okay? So a type 1 civilization is given to a species who has been able to harness all of the energy that is available from a neighboring star. So that means if we were to get to the point where we could build something around the sun that used all of the energy the sun gave off, not 99% of it, but all of it is completely efficiently, and we were using that energy for our stuff, that's a type 1 civilization, okay? Type 2 civilization can harness the power of their entire... Type 1 designation is given to a species who has been able to harness all the energy that is available from a neighboring star. Type 2 civilization can harness the power of their entire star, not merely transforming starlight into energy, but controlling the star. Okay, that's kind of weird. There's a whole paragraph. I could keep reading it, but that's where the hypothetical Dyson Sphere comes from. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard of a Dyson Sphere, but it's this cool looking... imagine a circle cage around a sun, and it's one giant machine that's enclosing a sun, and it's able to completely, like I said earlier, harness all of the energy from it and use it. Type 3, where a species then becomes galactic traversers with knowledge of everything having to do with energy, resulting in them becoming a master race in terms of humans, hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. Anyway, I think this has to do with harnessing the energy of, like, their solar system or maybe their galaxy. I can't remember. Type 4 is all of the energy from... Kardashev believed a Type 4 civilization was too advanced and you couldn't go beyond Type 3 on his scale. But he thought that surely a Type 4 would mean it would be the extent of any species' ability. And it's not telling specifically what it is doing, though. Dyson Spheres. I think it's a Dyson Sphere around every star in a galaxy, and you can harness all of the energy from an entire galaxy. Anyway, that's just a weird scale, because it's like, obviously we can conceptualize and think of levels of advancement far past ours, and I don't see why we wouldn't be able to, like, basically the whole theory that we're not seeing aliens because they're purposely just being like, yeah, we're going to stay away from them, and they view us as like a secluded little island, They don't know all this bigger stuff that's going on everywhere. It's like, why not? Like, what if we hit a point where we were that advanced and then we found a planet like us, but they were like primitive, like ape things? It's possible that some weird group would be like, we should leave them alone so that they can advance for themselves, and once they hit this point, then we'll invite them into our galactic empire or something. And it's like, maybe. But
dude, we just get it's like a fucking Smash invitation. You've been invited to the fucking galactic council. Oh fuck. No. We fucking made it, boys.
He's so funny. dude, alien sightings spiked drastically after we invented nukes. After the first nuke was detonated in testing, first nuclear bomb, the amount of UFO sightings and reports goes up like by an insanely large scale. And so a lot of people think that they somehow were able to sense that level of radiation, or maybe they were waiting for us to hit that level of destruction or weaponry or something before they come get a closer look and like, yo, what are these guys doing? And I don't know if that's because they don't want us to destroy ourselves, or if it's because they don't want us to be a threat to nuking them, because a nuke is just retarded. Like the 2 bombs we dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki were atom bombs, and since then we've invented the hydrogen bomb, which, just to put it in scale of how big that is, it uses an atom bomb as a trigger for the hydrogen bomb to go off. It's like hundreds and hundreds of times bigger than one atom bomb. It's like,
I hate that, dude.
It's crazy, yeah.
It's so weird to think that on Earth, at any moment, the entire Earth could just not exist. That's how fucking retarded.
Yep.
Like, they could just nuke the entire fucking world. And
it's not an exaggeration. Like, at any second, it's not pessimistic. It's statistically, it's if one hydrogen bomb gets launched from any country, and many countries have hydrogen bombs, the MAD initiative, which President signed, says, if that happens, we're launching all of ours at you, and you can launch all of yours at us, and we recognize it'll be the end of the world, but that's what we're going to do. And who knows if that is really what we're going to do, but I'd like to hope that someone wouldn't do that. And, dude, there was one point already in history where to launch our hydrogen bombs, there's 2 keys that have to go into these 2 doors, and they have to get turned at the same time. And there has been one time where the keys were in, and we were less than 10 seconds from turning it. And it was during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And the guy who's in charge of calling the thing to flip the switch and launch our nukes was called and told to flip the switch. He was told to launch them, and he didn't do it. He couldn't do it. And then within the next few minutes, they canceled everything, and I think it was the Russians backed off from the line, and everything like backed up, and it was like the order was sent though, and the fact that the order was sent to launch those is the scariest.
Goddamn. Goddamn, knowing that that has already happened, it's just like, holy shit.
It's creepy to think about, dude. Oof. But anyway, yeah, and then not only that, but like Elon Musk talks about solar flares that happen all the time. You can't predict a solar flare because we're not really scanning within the sun well enough to predict when it's going to happen. And those things are so big, and they've happened in other directions where it's like, cool, if that was on this direction, Earth would be heated up so much that within like 15 to 20 years, we'd be dead, because it would F our atmosphere so much that plants wouldn't be able to grow, animals would die, all this stuff. It would shake the ground so much, all the volcanoes would explode. And solar flares.
That reminds me. Yeah, there was, dude, who knows if it was solar flare, but I was listening to one of the Jordan Peterson, I was still on the Maps meeting. He was talking about how if something from the sun like happened, it would fry all of the electronics we have. They would just, and it's like, god damn.
Yeah, those bigger.
Who knows if that'll ever happen? Just, the sun just goes, fucking fucks everything.
I know. It's the EMP that's let off from those. Some of them are powerful enough to permanently fry every single electronic on Earth. And it's like, I don't know if humans are set up to where if all of our electronics stopped working immediately, if we would even be able to recover. Like, could you repair that? It's like, whoever would be repairing it wouldn't be able to Google how to do anything or look at the logs of how stuff worked or anything. Like, you'd be going into libraries with candles trying to find books, hopefully that have to do with computers. It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's just freaky, dude. Yeah, that could happen at any point, dude.
Major fucking setback. Just, that I was listening to that and I'm like, that bugs me. Like, the fact that it's so unbelievably annoying to me that we're on this fucking rock, fucking going around this, and somehow, all the shit that fucking happens in this goddamn unit, we're still there. How have we not just been fucking obliterated by something? Like, for this long. blows my fucking mind.
It's freaky. There's been asteroids like big enough to wipe out whole sections of civilizations here that have hit the moon and hit Mars and hit other planets in our solar system, and it's like, thanks. Thanks for missing. And then another one is Yellowstone. Shit. At any point can erupt. Any second. And if that erupts, the shaking it'll cause the ground will cause the San Andreas asphalt to crack, which is the biggest asphalt. Is that the word? The biggest fault line?
The biggest fault line?
Asphalt.
Biggest asphalt, bro.
Yeah, the biggest
just imagine
fault line.
Fuck a road.
So that'll cause that to happen, and that's the biggest volcano in the world, and so the amount of dirt and atmospheric coverage, when Mount St. Helens blew up, the line of ashes that was in the air encircled the entire Earth and came back to Mount St. Helens, or I think it was St. Helens, and it's like that. There was a stripe in the sky of where the sun couldn't make it through all the way, right? So the plants under there and stuff, and then the amount of ash all around the mountain obviously killed all the plants. But Yellowstone volcano that's underground is way, way bigger than that. And people think if that erupted, it'd be the end of humanity because it would block all of our atmosphere, so where the sun can't come in. And plus, that causes a greenhouse effect where it heats up our atmosphere to where global warming would just go retard mode, right? It would shake the earth so much, all the earthquakes would happen. It would, all of the effects it would cause is almost certainly extinction for humans. And the fact that that could happen at any second, it's like, any second, dude. Right now, while we're filming this, boom, it could happen.
Yeah.
A meteor could happen at any second. So what is there? Let's think of all of them. Solar flare, meteor, volcano. I guess you could say like a plague or some kind of disease at any second could just evolve to where it can just sweep through everything, has 100% kill rate. It's aerosoled. It's just,
Yeah.
That's possible.
Fucking. Do you think if the San Andreas fault line snapped, would that not fucking obliterate the United States?
Yeah, it depends on how much pressure there is. I don't know, but I think it's so much that they predict that the tsunamis that it would cause would be the biggest tsunamis the world has ever seen by far, but that it will also shake the ground enough that Yellowstone would go off. But let's say neither of those happened and it was just the shaking. That's in a spot where Los Angeles, San Diego, were we saying San Andreas? We weren't, We were saying San Diego.
Dude, we are 100% saying San Andreas.
But is that what it is, though? Or is that just GTA 2?
I don't know, man. We need to fucking look this up, bro. Fucking nerds saying San Andreas.
Okay, it's real. San Andreas fault. That's what it's
called.
Oh
my god.
That scared me, dude. I was like, did we really just mix GTA 2 with reality? Because GTA is GTA San Andreas. Anyway, dude, it's going the entire length of California. That's how big it is. It's literally starting clear up by Eureka and going all the way down to Mexico.
Yeah. Because, dude, even the hurricanes, how much damage a fucking hurricane does, it's like,
yeah.
Damn. That's crazy. But then just a fucking boom, the tsunami from that? Dude, holy shit. Dude.
I'm not about it. I have a phobia specifically about waves, dude. I'm not.
We have to, at this point in time, no chance we don't have something invented to survive a tsunami.
Yeah, there's some.
Why do we not?
There's some other countries that have built these things where if a wave comes, it'll drastically destroy most of the force of the wave before the wave actually hits their civilization, their buildings and stuff. Yeah. But you have to go, it's millions of dollars, and you go clear out into the ocean and build these pillar things, and I think they're connected underneath each other. I don't know. But it's basically like putting a big grate way out in the water so that if a massive wave forms, it'll crash against that first. And yeah, it'll F that up. But by the time it hits land, it's way, way, way less powerful. So I think that's one of the closest things we've come to. But the San Andreas tsunamis, I don't think those would do anything to it. The tsunamis that would be caused by that are, because I think it's the most, the reason that's a famous one, I'm pretty sure, is it's because it's estimated to have more pressure based on the movement of the other tectonic plates than anywhere else, to where when that cracks, it's not just going to go and slide a little bit. It's going to be like a boom, like potentially continent changing event. Like, it's just retarded.
Dude, holy fuck.
I know.
That's going to be crazy.
Living on that, people that live in like San Diego, whatever, it's like, Jax Films made a joke about it the other day because he lives in LA. He's like, well, we're still waiting for the San Andreas fault to go, and at that point we won't be here. But
and it's so weird that we're just going throughout our lives and shit's just could wipe us out at any second. Blows my mind. Yeah, and it's so weird that it's been this long. Like, even for me, it's like, bro, the fact that I've lived this long, knowing that all this stuff exists, I'm lucky.
Well,
That's weird.
I think that you got to look at it from a, how often do meteors that large hit? And if you looked at how often they hit, it's like, okay, it makes sense it hasn't hit. How often do volcanoes that big erupt? And it's like once every however many thousands of years. It's like, okay, well, a little 85-year lifespan between the however many thousands of years it takes for a volcano to go off is not that bad.
Yeah.
And then if you add together all of those events on top of each other, like the odds of a meteor and an earthquake and Yellowstone and this and this and this and nukes, it's like, you can see how you're alive, but it's also just knowing that at any point, any of those streaks could happen. Like, I know that we're overdue for a meteor. Like, historically, how many meteors have hit Earth that are a size that would really F stuff up? We're way overdue based on that schedule. It's like hundreds of years overdue. And so that's like...
Dude, what if we fucking launched a hydrogen bomb at the fucking meteor, dude?
They've talked about that, and I don't know. I don't know if the radiation hitting that would F stuff up, or if I don't know. But
yeah, I don't know. Well, what would we do? It just hits a point where it's like, if any of this happened, what would actually happen? I don't feel like we're prepared at all for any of this. Just like,
that's true.
We're just gonna get obliterated, are we not?
Yeah, there's very few people working on possible solutions to these potentially extinct level events. I guess Elon Musk kind of is with Mars, but it's like mostly like there was Veritasium made a video on asteroids and what we've done to protect ourselves from potential asteroids, and also talking to a guy about how big an asteroid has to be to cause how much damage and all of this stuff, right? And so from that, I learned that, like, asteroids all the time are entering our atmosphere, but they're small enough that they burn up in the atmosphere. And then now and then there are some that hit pretty often where they do end up hitting the ground, but they're pretty small by that point. They're like golf ball size or smaller. And even that is going fast enough that it does a big crater. And like, there was a girl that was in her living room one time, and a genuine meteor came through her roof and hit her in the leg. And it ruined her leg and made a big hole in her roof and ruined her couch. But she survived and went to the hospital. It's like, yeah, I got hit by a meteor. That's way crazier than lightning, right? Anyway,
dude.
So that stuff happens. But when he was asking, like, if a meteor big enough to wipe out even half of humanity were coming, how big would it have to be? And what could we do about it and everything? And he's like, we had a meeting one time. There was a meeting with international scientists there talking about what is the course of action if specifically a meteor big enough to hit comes, what would we do? And everyone was throwing out these ideas, like one option is if you can, there was bombing it was an option, and then he gave why that wouldn't work. And then there was wrapping it in, or somehow putting enough reflective, like aluminum foil type stuff or something on it, that it can reflect tons of sunlight, and that can change its course, enough sunlight hitting it if it's reflective, which is crazy. But my camera's not focusing. Hang up.
The way you...
I didn't know what to do. Yeah, and so we can't do that one either. And then we can't move it. Anyway, it came to where they're just like, well, hopefully it doesn't happen. There's nothing we can do. And they just left. And it was like, really? Nothing? Nope.
Dude, it's just such a weird thing. Just, there's nothing we can do.
It's like we literally haven't hit a point of advancement where we would be able to do anything about something that could just happen at any point. It's like,
God damn.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I think it's Joe Rogan always says how no one should be confident in general because at any point all of us could die. And then he lists all the and not only that we could all die, but that to try to look at yourself as more insignificant and worthless because you're just one person out of 7 billion on this little rock surrounded by nothing, way out in the middle of nothing, you know, and he tries to get people to look at life from that perspective. And it's like, I think that could be useful in the way of like not making a big deal out of little things, you know, like not being like, freaking out about, I don't know, something being due or some work project you have to do. Just be like, listen, you know, it's not that important. But obviously, if you think of life like that, then there's a risk of nihilism to where you just decide everything is meaningless, and that's obviously a good idea. But
that's retarded.
Yeah.
But to have that, just like knowing that, it's like, it almost makes you want to like do something with the time you have, because at any moment you just die.
Could be gone. Yep.
But it's also just crazy with like not even big retard shit like that. Like at any moment you could die in a car crash.
Yeah. Or people have heart attacks and just die, and some of them aren't even that old or don't have a heart condition. It's like, or an aneurysm. That's another one. Can't predict a brain aneurysm. Just a blood vessel in your brain just goes, and that can just be fatal. It's like,
Ooh, that's crazy to me, dude. That reminds me of the freaking, dude. Some of the things with, minimum intelligence speaking here. Okay. Not wearing your seatbelt in a car. Yeah. I feel like the seatbelt is such a dumb invention. Okay, this is minimum intelligence speaking here. Yeah, seatbelt saves lives, but the amount of people wearing a seatbelt that just die anyway. It's like, I feel like if a car crash, but once it hits a certain level of car crash, you are pretty much dying either way, unless it's like a miracle.
Yeah.
But I obviously don't know the stats. I don't know the stats, but that's just what my brain has conceived as like, like a car crash just hits a level where it's like, if we fucking hit something so fucking hard that I flew through the windshield, I would, even if I had a seatbelt on, I would die. Like going 30 miles an hour, and then if you're going 30 miles an hour and you hit something, right? That's a lot of fucking force, right? You're probably going to go through. But when you're traveling 30 miles an hour and something pulls out in front of you, I feel like you react fast enough that car crash is going to happen, but it's not going to be that crazy, right?
So you're going slow enough, you can react in time that you don't need a seatbelt.
At no point in time am I going fast enough, except maybe the freeway. Okay? Yeah, the freeway. Yeah. But it's like, I don't know, man. Shit blows my mind. Because it's like, even just the people that they're just in their car, they get hit, right? Oh, car hits. Like, I think it was David, our cousin David. Mm-hmm. Dude, that has to be his name.
David Weilacher?
Anyway, no. Darger, it was Liz's kid. Yeah.
Oh, what about
I'm not going crazy. He died in a car crash. He got T-boned, and his head just went on the window, just died.
And he had a seatbelt on?
And you go, and you just go, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck's the point in the seatbelt then, dude?
Yeah, well, here's what I know about seatbelts. I will agree with you that people are gonna disagree with this, but you'll agree. It is really dumb that it is a law that you have to wear a seatbelt. That is completely against the Constitution. Me and my own property, you can stay, laws, government can stay out of that. Nothing to do with you or anyone else. If I'm alone in a car and I don't wear a seatbelt, I should have the freedom to risk my own life and risk dying in a car wreck, right? It's like, it has nothing to do with anything, right? So I agree that it shouldn't be a law. But I know that when Elon Musk was trying to push one of his auto-driving cars, there was a lot of people saying, no, look what could happen, or it's going to die too fast on long road trips, or it's going to be unsafe, or it's going to be too heavy, and there was all this stuff. And he was using the way he was thinking about it is when seatbelts were first invented, tons of major car companies tried slandering seatbelts and people that were pushing seatbelts because they didn't want to be legally obligated to put, or legally compelled to put seatbelts in their cars. They just didn't want to. It's like back when, you know, the whole back seat was like a big couch thing. There was no seatbelts.
Yeah.
And they're just like, that's retarded. And the reason it ended up passing is because of the statistics that I don't know what organization was bringing forward to the court cases. Was like, look, these are the tests we've done, and seatbelts reduced the risk of death by 45% and cut the risk of serious injury by 50%. But that's for drivers and passengers. I don't know if that's everyone in the car.
Yeah, that's a 50-50, bro.
Yeah. People not wearing a seatbelt are 30 times more likely to be ejected from a vehicle during a crash. And another thing I heard that isn't what I just read is that when there's a wreck with multiple people in the car, most of the damage done to the people in the car are from if someone was unbuckled, their body flying around the car and hitting into other people causes the most damage. It's like you had a big giant bag of water and bones just going around in the car and just slamming into people's faces. There's one thing when I was in driver's ed, a video where like 3 of the people in the car died because one person didn't have their seatbelt on and their body flew through the back seat and each of them in the head so hard that they died. And it's like crazy. And I there's so much time that I drive that I don't wear a seatbelt. I don't wear a seatbelt so much of the time. But every time I'm in the car with someone else, I almost always put a seatbelt on. And my logic is I'm risking my own safety now and then, right? It's probably like half the time I drive alone, I don't wear a seatbelt, maybe a little bit less. It's like, I understand that there's a risk there and maybe I have double the chance of dying, but I'm risking that. Stay out of it. Don't talk to me. It's my decision. So
dude, that comes down to the like argument in the car that I had with like Drake and Damien and Daniel. Everyone's like, I will put the seatbelt on in the car with you guys. I'm not like, I understand that, but like, I don't know, dude, the seatbelt thing is just like, I don't know. I've hit a point that like life is so, what's a normal
fragile
way to word this? I'm going to word this so badly. It's so easy to die that I feel like in any scenario that I get in a bad enough car crash that I'm going to die, what's a seatbelt going to do? I don't know.
Well,
I also just like need examples of like crashes where it's like, maybe I just need to see someone going 30 miles an hour and like try to slow down, hit something and just, and I'll go, oh, maybe that'll change my mind.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
The way I think it is, and I could be wrong, but obviously there is a level of crash that even a seatbelt isn't going to prevent death. Like driving off a cliff, you know, while you're driving up to a campsite, right? Of course, a 200-foot drop in your car, your seatbelt's not going to save you. But I do think that there's a wide range of wrecks, or if you rank ordered wrecks by damage done or something, that there's still a big range in there where you would die half the time if you didn't have a seatbelt, and you wouldn't die the other half the time if you did have the seatbelt. And that is because, like, you know, if you're on the freeway and you're going 80, one possible wreck is that something flies out of the back of a truck and it makes the 3 cars in front of you slam on their brakes and you hit them so hard that you fly through your windshield and die. But if you had your seatbelt on, you wouldn't, right? But there's also a potential thing where you're on the freeway and, I don't know, something happens where you ricochet off a wall and spin and another car T-bones you and then you're just dead, even if you had your seatbelt on. It just, like Liz's kid, it just hits you in a way where your head just rattles too hard and you're dead, right? And so it's like, I think there's a range of wrecks where it's like a 50-50 seatbelt, no seatbelt, but also a level where even with a seatbelt you'd die, right? But,
I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's...
I need to just look into it more because it's like everyone, I don't know, I just get so much shit for not wearing a seatbelt.
Do you get a lot?
Yeah.
I knew that one thing happened with Drake where he was trying to get you to put it on, but I didn't know anything else had happened.
No one like, bro, so much of the time it's just like, I don't have my seatbelt on and people are like, you don't have your seatbelt on? No. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird to me. But I feel like I feel like if I'm going, it changed my mind kind of like going on, dude. Okay, think about this. Going on a road trip, having a seatbelt on the whole road trip. It's like, that's pretty cursed, right? I never in my life. Yeah. Never in my life have I worn a seatbelt on a road trip. But then it's like, it hits a point where it's like, okay, yeah, really? It is more safe. Yeah, dude. Fuck. What the fuck? When you're on a road trip, you're fucking fooling in the seat. Or like laying down across the back seat. Never am I sitting with my seatbelt on. Like, think about it. Even when you're on a road trip and you have your seatbelt on and you're trying to sleep, that fucking shit is just like feels like you're being fucking smothered to death. Yeah, it's like you unbuckle that shit and you gotta like adjust and you're like, sleep on the, lean against the window. It gives you that extra, I don't know. Yeah. But it's like in scenarios where it's like, where you're going like 80, something bad could happen, right? Yeah. Or like on the freeway. Yeah. But if it's like such a little drive somewhere, it's like, I don't think I'm going to hit something so hard or get hit so hard that I get ejected through the windshield. Yeah. Like, I'll live through whatever happens on this 30, 40 mile per hour road just fine. Yeah. So I don't know.
I get it. I get that the risk isn't actually, I feel like the risk isn't as high as people treat it, right? And it's like, shut up. I'm not going to, like what you said, if you're not going that fast or you're alone or whatever and you want to risk it, it's like, it's gay that it's a law and it's gay that people are trying to pressure you to do it, right? I kind of get it if they're in the car with you. They're like, well, I would feel safer if you put a seatbelt on. Right? That's one reason I just always do with other people in the car. But I do see in long road trips and stuff where if you're chilling or sleeping or laying in the back or people folded the seats down, there's a bed. Yeah, I'm just going to lay there and not wear a seatbelt. I don't really care. So I get that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I don't know.
It's crazy, dude. We're coming up on 2 hours, and I don't really want to. Yeah, and I know that I could keep talking for like another hour if I could just keep going, but we should probably cut it short just out of.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 9:20. I'm gonna be late for work if we don't stop.
Okay.
I thought.
Yeah, the last conversation was. How do we even get on the seatbelt topic?
Dude,
how did I
death
start
and the
this?
significance of life.
No. Damn, that's deep. That to seatbelts. That's what I brought it to. I was like, I'm talking about seatbelts now.
It matters.
Fuck.
Okay, before we go, do you have any recommendations for the audience? Anything you'd recommend? Doesn't have to be media or tech. It could literally be anything. It could be. One time I recommended having baths more often. You could specific TV show. Foot massages. I don't know. You decide, man.
What does Davin recommend?
Yeah. I'm going to try to think. I would say I was thinking about recommending coffee, but I feel like I feel like people mostly already made up their mind with that, by and large.
Yeah.
I'd recommend Mr. Ballen YouTube channel, but I already kind of recommended that. So
fuck.
I'll recommend that if you have a goal of any kind, you should just decide on an amount of time to work on that goal every day, even if it's 10 minutes minimum, something like that. Even if you don't know specifically what you're going to do, just go, okay, I'm sitting down, I'm starting a 20-minute timer, and I'm working on this thing, and then just seeing what happens. Even if you're just sitting there thinking about ideas based on that thing, it counts. Doesn't matter what you do. You could Google, like, how to do X or whatever, and just 20 minutes a day. And when your 20 minutes is up, okay, don't have to work on it anymore. But if you do those starting, if you start it at least once a day, even if it's for a tiny amount of time, I think that leads to bigger things and more time spent on it and all of that. Like today, I downloaded Duolingo, and I'm going to learn Spanish.
Damn.
Yep. That's
a weird language to learn.
I know. I'm probably also going to download the Pimsleur approach for it and listen. That's an audio way of learning it, just audio.
Yeah.
And they have tons of different languages, and I used that for Russian a long time ago, Pimsleur approach on Russian, and I actually made a decent amount of progress for it only being audio. Like, it'll still say to say certain things or repeat certain things, so you're still talking out loud, but it's like, yeah, I'm going to try to learn Spanish between Duolingo and Pimsleur Approach, listening to it in my car and stuff. See what happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd recommend
that's super awesome.
Doing that.
But I have to ask, why Spanish?
Well, I've always, even clear back in like early high school or late middle school, I've recognized that Spanish would be probably the most useful language to learn, just because you're in America and that's the second language here. And then not only that, but most careers, even if it has nothing to do with talking, like most careers in general, if you have the same qualifications as someone else, but you know a second language, especially if it's the second language of that country, you have a way higher chance of getting hired. And there's like large scale statistics about that. And I think it's just because, you know, managers will view you as like, oh, you know, that's a whole nother, it's an awkward situation to be in if you have to help a customer that speaks Spanish. But if you have an employee that speaks Spanish, it's like, yo, come help out, you know? And so in general, I've always kind of known that that would be the most useful, but I also hate Spanish, the language Spanish. I took 2 full Spanish classes that were both a year long in high school, and I got an F in both of them. I didn't just fail, I got an F in both of them because I hate Spanish. I didn't care. I wouldn't pay attention. I didn't like doing my things. I was trying to like do my homework, and it just didn't ever click in a way. And I genuinely think there's maybe some personalities that are more predisposed to learning languages, right? I don't know if that would be openness or something, but anyway, it's like, it was so hard for me to grasp, and I just was so irritated by it. And the only way I got around not having to pass anything is when I moved to Utah and went to AISU, my success coach lady was like, oh, it says you don't have any foreign language and stuff. And I was just like, oh, really? Oh, yeah. And she was like, yeah. And then she walked away and like, oh, we'll figure that out. And I was like, crap, I'm going to have to take Spanish again. This is so AIDS. And then next time we had a meeting of her choosing my classes, she's like talking about different classes and what she put me in, and it filled up my whole schedule. And I was like, am I going to take foreign language next year? And she goes, I just waived that one for you. I just waived it. Like all quiet. And I was like, oh, you just got rid of it. I just don't need to do it, huh? I just didn't need to do it. I graduated high school, never had foreign language. And so, but now I'm like, okay, I'm going to, through sheer willpower and effort, voluntarily accept the suffering and try as hard as I can to learn Spanish. So
think about this. Japanese, bro. You'd be able to watch anime without subtitles.
Did you know?
And then going to Japan?
Dude, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. For me, Spanish, Japanese, and Russian would be the 3 I'm most likely to learn because I have family that's Russian, right? And Japanese, I watch a lot of anime, and I've always wanted to go to Japan, little things like that. But I've heard that once someone has learned at least one other language, that they pick up other languages faster and faster and faster. And that's how you can get people that know like 40 languages. It's like, you think like there's maybe not 40, but there's genuinely people that know like 28 languages. And it seems retarded. It's like, no, you don't. You're not going to tell me that you're going to fly to 20 different countries and fluently speak to people in all these different languages. And it's like, yeah, turns out they actually can. And I think it's crazy. People have explained that once you learn at least another language, you start seeing similarities between the two, like different words or different ways they conjugate verbs or something that's similar. And then as you learn a third language, now you're able to tie experience from your first 2 into this third one. And so it's this exponential speed at which your brain can grasp the way it works with language. And it's like it's something that people that are unilingual can't grasp, you know, because we only know one language.
Yeah, we know one.
So I will say that after I learn Spanish, I will try to learn Japanese, because I agree going to Japan and knowing Japanese would be way, way cooler than just going to Japan. So,
yeah. But, all right. That's what you recommended.
No, my recommendation wasn't that. It was any goal you have, put a few minutes a day toward it, and then that's all.
Okay. Fuck. I'd have to say, you know what? I'm going to recommend Guitar Hero, bro.
Yeah?
You should fucking play some Guitar Hero. Or like Rock Band.
How do you have it on your computer? Is it like
an emulator? It's called Clone Hero.
Is it on Steam?
No, you just download it from their website.
Okay, and it's free?
Yeah.
But you had to
and then you just have people that...
An actual...
Yeah, you have to have a guitar.
Yeah.
But there was this super cheap way that I saw at one point, but I don't know if it exists anymore. But yeah, it's pretty fun.
Now, for people who don't know, it's a game where you're holding a giant plastic guitar, not giant, but the normal size guitar that's plastic. It's got buttons on it, and then on your screen, it's kind of like, I don't know, DDR or piano tiles, or what's another game like that where you're timing what buttons you're pushing on the guitar to what you're seeing on the screen, but it's also matching the beat to real normal songs that you like Beat Saber. It's like the same type of game because it's coming towards you, you're hitting it, and it's matching the beat to the song, right?
I would also recommend Beat Saber. Dude, you know what? Rhythm games. Pretty amazing. Pretty cool.
People, dude, I don't know if Trinity's ever tried, well, she's tried Beat Saber, but I was thinking of other rhythm games if there's people that haven't tried any rhythm games. But do you think that getting good at rhythm games increases, like, do you think that skill carries over at all? Like, I don't know if that would be instinct or not instinct, reflex or hand-eye coordination or anything like that?
It would probably, I would assume reflex and hand-eye coordination. But I don't really know. All I know is it's fun as fuck, but when dude, I don't know, for me, when I'm fucking up on that shit and you're like messing up, it's one of the most unsatisfying things on this earth. But once you get it down, like getting the practice and then getting a song perfect, holy shit. It's like getting a 100% score in Beat Saber.
It's just so satisfying.
It's so satisfying. Seeing on your like Guitar Hero, the list, dude, so many of my effing songs are 98, 99, 98, 99. I'm just like, dude. Just that getting the 100 though, ooh, very satisfying.
That's crazy. I will say this. I'll say when I learned how to sing Rap God and the fast part of Rap God and Alphabet Insanity and a few other really fast songs, when I learned how to articulate the words at the same speed they were, I think that I've noticed later in life at different points when it came to like being drunk or maybe what's another example, or like learning a new word that's hard to articulate, stuff like that. I think the biggest reason I'm able to do it right and not like slur my words very much or different things like that was just because of that one section of time that because it's like it trained my tongue and my mouth to hit every syllable and then not hit
and be super specific.
Yeah, super specific about it. Because like I think some people, if they start talking fast, it starts slurring the sounds between letters. Like it'll start, it'll sound like they're talking like they're trying to hit it really fast, right? And it's just like, bruh. But if you it can hit it perfectly. I assume that's what it reminded me of when I was playing saxophone, and you actually get to where you can hit every note and move your fingers fast enough and your tongue fast enough to exactly hit it. It's super satisfying. So you're like, yo, I did that whole thing that well. And so I think that's probably what it is. Like Beat Saber, you might F up on a song so many times, but once you get it down and hit every single note, it's like, ooh. And I wonder if that carries over to like situations where you have to move your body in a really precise way or your fingers in a really precise way. You're able to do it because those muscles are like more defined in that way or something.
I don't know, but I've been playing rhythm games. Dude,
really?
I got some mad reflexes, bro. The amount that I like catch shit, it's retarded. Like something like falls off the counter and you're like, oh! You fucking catch that shit, you're like, dude, if I wasn't playing Guitar Hero or Beat Saber, that shit would have splattered on the
ties to that. That's really funny. Dang. Okay, well, I have to go to work, bro. My mom's going to be leaving by the time I get there, so I wish I could keep talking, but peace out. It was a good one. Play Beat Saber and do your goals for 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes. And
fuck yeah.
We'll see you on Maximum Intelligence next Thursday. Be sure to subscribe to our live action skit and vlog channel, Flop Slap, and make sure you subscribe to our comedy gaming channel that's very well edited called Slop Flap. Bye-bye.